Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a lot of machinima acting effects and scene building through the New Vegas GECK. This also applies to the Fallout 3 GECK, but right now I'm going to be showing you how you do the Fallout New Vegas one. I had received a lot of messages after I uploaded the Vault Recount on how I got actors to move a certain way, or how I got them to move their mouths in a certain style. So I thought I'd make a video on showing you guys how to do it. I'm going to try to be as thorough as possible with this, so kind of just bear with me. And if you know how to use the GECK, this should be pretty easy for you, but if you don't, I'm going to try making this as easy as possible for you. Okay, so first off, you're going to want to go and launch the New Vegas GECK. It's pretty easy. So then you're going to go up to File, Data, and I'm just disabling all these right now for the sake of simplicity. So what you're going to want to do is have the New Vegas.esm enabled, and if you have any extra mods that you want to have installed, like say like the M1897 ESP, which is the World War II era trench shotgun. So if you want to have that added, you can add it to a character inside. You just enable it, and you're good. I mean, if you want to use assets from the other DLCs, just gotta double click, like I just did. If you want Dead Money enabled, just double click Dead Money and it should be fine. For now, we're just gonna stick with just Fallout Vegas. This also works for Tale of Two Wastelands, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. So then you're just gonna want to just have your master file Fallout.esm enabled. So click OK. It should. It's gonna start loading all your files right now. It will take a few minutes to get everything all loaded. I mean, it's pretty normal. You're loading quite a lot of files, so you just gotta be patient with this. Okay. Now that your game is all loaded and ready and everything like this, you're gonna want to kind of just, you have a specific location in mind, like, so right now we're in kind of interior cells, which is just like you go inside a building or something like that. That's what it's referring to as interiors, clearly. So if you want to be somewhere in like the wasteland, you want to go to Wasteland NV under World Space. You click that. It'll load up all the locations in Fallout New Vegas. So that you're gonna have quite a lot of options to choose from here, as you can tell. I mean, everything else, it's marked pretty well on here on how to do stuff, or like where locations are. So, for the sake of simplicity, we will go to Good Springs. Okay. So now you can see that in your render window, Good Springs is starting to pop up on your render window. So, I mean, there's several videos out there that will give you a good grasp on how to use the camera controls. But for now, like if you want to look around freely, kind of just make sure like you're in your render window somewhere, and just hit shift and you should be able to move around like this. If you just want to move clearly, you can either use your click the middle mouse or use the space bar and go like this. I find this one pretty useful when I click on something and I need to rotate and I need to go up or something like that. It works out pretty well. A is to turn on bright lights mode, which is pretty useful when you need to look at something. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to get a NPC to walk in a straight line. It's a fairly simple process, but for the sake of you guys, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so first we're going to want to go into the object window over on the left side, and you want to go to Actors and NPCs. Now, based on what kind of NPC you want it to be, it's really up to you. For easiness right now, I'm going to go to Caucasian Male, and I'm going to go New. It's going to bring up a brand new window. It looks kind of daunting at first, but it isn't too incredibly hard. For your ID, it's what it's going to show up as in your editor ID. So like on the side, like very top, it's like 188 Civilian Hopeful A. So for right now, we're just going to go 1A Test Man. And then under name, that's what, when you approach him in game, that's what his name is going to be. For now, we're going to just name him Bob. Okay. And One thing I like to do is I just like to change the class to Soldier Scout. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, but it's easy to do. Okay, so what I usually do right away is go to Factions and go New. Then you're going to want to scroll all the way down to Player Faction. This just makes it so that they don't hate you right away. If you accidentally shoot them, they don't just run off right away. It just makes it all around better. And for AI data, it's really up for you to decide. I usually just go, everything is usually just, actually, you know what, you can leave everything here. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we're going to click OK. And should be, okay, should be here soon. Should be right here. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag him into the render window. As you can see, we have a man just standing right here. That's our guy who's going to be going back and forth. And you can just move him over, position him how you want. Use the shift keys to use the right click key to rotate him around if you want. G to nudge him up. F to bring him right down to the ground. So this is a pretty useful thing to do. Okay. So once you have him made, you want to go double click on him and go click edit base on the reference box that pops up. And so as you can tell, he has nothing on him. So let's go to items in the object window and armor, and then click the little plus sign and a whole drop down menu of armor categories will pop up. For now I'm just gonna click on the entire thing and click the first one that pops up, actually, combat armor black. Go full, and as you can see, he'll be wearing the Black Talon Company Merc armor, and it should look pretty good. And then, if you really want to, I mean, you don't need to right now, depending on what your character's going to do, but I will add in a weapon for him. And as you can tell, like, the weapon categories are based on what type of weapon you have, and I just clicked on two-hand rifle. So, you're going to choose two-hand automatic instead. Actually, no, we'll go two-hand rifle. Just choose something simple. Well, let's do a laser rifle. As you can see, it appears in his hands right there, right away. So then you want to add in microfusion cells. You want to go to ammo, just type in M or something like that, and it should pop up pretty fast. You want to find a microfusion cell, and then I just changed it to like 50 so the character has plenty of ammo. Okay, so then you click OK, and as you can tell, your character now is in the world with armor on and with a weapon. So now you have your basic character creation done. You should be good there. Okay, so now let's just save so we don't lose our progress, and let's do 1A test guy. Okay, so like I said, once you have your character positioned into an area that you want, just kind of, like I said, once you have them in your area, go into the object window again and just type in X marker. Do it under all. X marker heading and X marker. X marker heading is when you want the character to end at a certain direction. Like, as you can tell, there's a little arrow on this, so he faces this direction, he'll face that way, kind of thing. X markers just make sure he gets to a certain spot. That's it. For simplicity, we're actually, for more exactness, we're gonna go X marker heading. You're gonna want two of them. Put one there, or wherever your start location would be. Copy that, and place another one down. It's there. Okay, so once that's done, you want to double click your character, go to edit base, AI packages, new, and do a troll AI package. So what you want to do is starting location is linked reference. Click OK. And then you want it repeatable. Radius doesn't really matter, and you're already going to the reference. Okay, now you can go under flags and you can have multiple options. I always do must complete, and continue if PC is near. And so you can either have weapon drawn, weapons unequipped, or pretending combat, always falls, allow sneak, always run, kind of thing like that. But for now, we're just going to do weapon drawn. So he looks like he's kind of patrolling with his weapon out. So then we're going to click OK there. And once you do there, once you're back to the little reference box, you're going to go to linked reference and do select reference in render window and double click your first reference. And as you can see, a little line appears between your character and the X marker heading. So now you want to double click on the reference, the X reference, or the X marker heading, go over to linked reference on that one, double click the X marker in front of it. As you can see, the line is drawn there, and go to the other X marker, go all the way over to linked reference, select reference in render window, and double click this one. Okay, so now when you click on the character, it'll link him to that, link him to there, link him to that, and then it just constantly goes like that. So now it'll constantly go back and forth, and you can get as many shots as you want. It's a really good tactic that I like to use for filming just general walking scenes. Okay, so now that's just how to do a walking instance, which is pretty. It's kind of as simple as it seems. You need these to get some good shots in your machinima. I personally found it really hard to do it any other way. I'm going to delete this for now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to get an NPC to like sit in a chair for a specific scene, or like play a specific idol or something like that. So you're just going to want to create a new character again. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the same guy, change his base ID name to 1A testband 02, just change his name to Bill, and do that. And they'll ask you if you want to create a new one, and just click yes. So now they look exactly the same, but they're different people. So let's say that you want the character to sit in a chair. Just search for chair and click whatever thing you think is good for the chair and place it into the window. And as you can see, that there's a kind of a character silhouette to the object that you placed in there. As you can see, this means that it's usable and it's a marker for the characters to use. So you want to double click this and first off, this is very key, persistent reference. It will not work unless you have it marked as a persistent reference. Double click that, click OK. Your character can now be linked to that object. So now what you want to do is go into the character again and go to AI packages, delete the patrol one, make a new one, and do travel. And then once again, link to reference, OK. Flags, must complete. Click OK. Click OK, and then go to his linked reference, double click the chair. So now when you come near him, he will be sitting in that chair. It's a very useful reference when just kind of doing general stuff, like I for one for the Vault Recount when he falls through the doorway. That one was one of the point lookout animations where one of the tribals breaks through the wall, which I thought was a very good animation for that specific instance. Okay, so now one thing I find very useful to do is action sequences when it comes to shooting or something like that. Many think it's you just gotta simply just spawn in the two enemies and just hope you get the good shots, but I do not like doing it that way. I like being in control of how I do it. So I'm going to show you how I do some proper shooting sequences. So to show that you can do this with virtually any character, I'm going to go to Super Mutant. Doesn't really matter right now. Let's choose Gun A. Place him there. Double click on him, edit base, go to Factions, and delete super mutant faction. That is very critical when doing this. That'll cause some very bad things if you don't do this. So then you want to go new and add the player faction to it. And it's just called player faction. You want to go to their AI packages, delete their AI packages, change the ID to 1A test super mutant 01, and then it's just creating a new character, new everything, so you're not overriding some random character and causing the default game to do something wonky. So click OK, OK, and then I'm just gonna save right now. So you also, after you do this whole character creation thing like usual, you can choose a number of things to make them shoot at. I, for one, usually just make them shoot at something invisible. So I'll just choose this X marker here. I'll just place a random X marker. Doesn't matter if it's an X marker heading or X marker. It can virtually be anything, any object. If you wanted to be a chair or a rock or whatever, do that. So, and this also it matters where you place it. If you place it high in the air, he's going to shoot high in the air. But if you place it towards the ground, he's going to shoot towards the ground. So we're going to place it kind of mid above the ground. Okay. So, first things first. Double click on your super mutant, edit base, go to AI packages, new, and then you're going to want to use weapon, and then it'll be certain categories like weapon, targets, flags, location, etc. So the first one I like to do is target, and that's to select the reference and render window. And you're going to want to select your X marker that you placed or whatever object was in the render window. Double click that. So now whenever he shoots, he will shoot at that. Okay, so you already have that done, so that location is done. Target location, don't need to worry about that because you already specified what the target will be. So flags. This is always a fun one. I like to do no damage so that if you're standing in front of it, nothing happens or something like that. And then crouch reload, that offers some kind of cool tactical look if you were going for a good firefight, but I'm not going to do that for this guy. And hold fire when blocked, I don't do that. So that means if like you walked in front of him, he's going to stop firing. You clearly don't want that, so I'm going to do that one. So flags is all good. And when you go to weapon, you're going to want to do weapon type, ranged. Well, okay, if you're having him use a gun, it's ranged. If it's like a baseball bat or something, it's melee. Or you can just do none or any. But for now, I'm going to do ranged. Okay, so these ones are done over on this side of the screen. Now you're going to go to fire rate. If you want them just to unload the entire clip at that reference, that's good, and you're fine. But if you don't, then you want to do volley fire, which is the minimum shots that they will shoot and the maximum shots they'll shoot and the pauses between them. I personally just do auto fire, so I'll just keep it at that. And then fire count, number of bursts. If you choose one, they're just going to shoot that whole clip at it and be done. But me, personally, I like to do repeat fire, so you make sure they're constantly trying to shoot that target. So you're going to want to click OK. And that is generally it for the Super Mutant. Except you're going to probably add a gun or something into it. So I'm just going to go to two-hand automatic and choose the light machine gun. It uses 5mm? 5.56. Okay. So then we're going to go into the ammo again and choose the 5.56 ammo. And I'm just going to put 500 rounds because that gun fires around off range. Okay, so factions, player faction, and you should be all good there. So then click OK. And make sure you close this too. Click OK. Okay, so now you have three things set up. You have one character going to shoot at an X marker, one character going to sit in a chair, and one character who's going to walk back and forth between two destinations for walking. So that is the basic how I used my ability in the GECK to make the Vault Recount. A lot of it was also a lot of set building, which is pretty easy in the GECK. You just gotta just try it on your own, see how it works out. Like, if you want like a table or something, just type in table into the filter. go to all, and spawn in a card table or something like that. It's pretty easy to build stuff with the GECK. So yeah, now we're gonna jump into game real quick and see how well this stuff worked out. Okay, as you can see, everything seems to be working fine right now, and he is very loud with this machine gun, but he's at least doing his job. Okay, well, you can clearly see he's doing what he needs to be doing, so I'm gonna kill him. Okay, so as you can see, our character is sitting properly in the chair, and everything seems to be according to plan. Of course, you can see his gun's kind of glitched out, so if you have the Goobertron, just access the inventory, take the gun away, and then give it back if you want. See, he's just kind of sitting there. And as you can see, for this character, he is simply patrolling back and forth, slowly, so it's a pretty nice shots in, it's like TFC and go like at FV40. And then he'll go to his point, and then you can just simply go backwards like this. You can get a pretty good walking shot. They'll do random idles of how like the characters are supposed to be. Like he'll do gun idles, like he'll hold the gun differently depending on how he works, or depending on what gun he's holding, etc., etc. So I hope this answers some questions of how to use the GECK to your advantage when making Machinima. I hope to have the next episode of Vault Recount out pretty soon. As always, I'm looking for help. I'm solo doing everything here, recording, editing. I have a couple of voice actors in mind helping me out, but all help is appreciated, and I hope you all have learned a little thing or two. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or shoot me a message. I'll throw a few links in the description of how to do some other GECK stuff. There's one channel that I have in mind, but I can't think of the name right now, that does a very good job at showing how to do a lot of GECK stuff. He takes you through how to do basic camera stuff, etc., etc. I hope you all have learned a little something, and I hope to see you guys soon.